without failure, you're not going to succeed, because you have to experience that failure and that letdown. And, the story of people saying, oh, you got to knock on 10 doors before you get one person to answer.
Right.
Sometimes you got to knock on 100 doors before you get one person to answer. So
what is going on, everybody out there? Welcome to the Two Stunads Podcast. I'm Paulo.
What's up, guys? I'm Drew. Thanks for watching the show.
Appreciate you guys stopping by. Every week we talk with business leaders. We talk with entrepreneurs, business owners. Talk about their story. We talk about how they got started. We talk about struggles. We talk about the successes, everything in between. Each week, got a new episode coming out. Feel free to check us out on YouTube. We're on all social platforms, everywhere you listen to podcasts. And yeah, there's really nothing special about us.
Yeah, like Paulo said, guys, we really appreciate you guys watching the shows. We know some of our videos got 50, 100,000 views. We need you guys to like and subscribe. That really helps the page out, especially us fully funding the page just with the algorithms and things like that. But today, without further ado, we have a great guest. We have a neighborhood guy, truly thick and through. We're going to go through everything from where he started, where he's at now, how he's integrated his family, not only his kids, but his mom and dad, where they came from, and how he's impacted the Chicago Italian culture as a whole.
Yeah.
Would you say that's correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a real deal. I'm excited to talk to this gentleman here today. He's built an empire out of flavor, out of passion, hustle, heart. And he's got, like you said, that Italian old school kind of grit to him a little bit, right? He's hustling hard.
Yeah, he's giving back to the Italian community, which is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, he started out building brands, originally Massa out in Elmwood Park. Got Vero Coffee, Angelato. You can find his products in Mariano's, Caputo's. And he's not just making products, right? He's building brands that actually mean something, and it's synonymous with quality too, right? Whether it's coffee, gelato, pizza dough, panini. I can't wait to talk to this guy here. It's quality and it's Italian made, this man is behind it. And I'm excited to dive into his story, about his legacy, understand his craftsmanship with it, and just kind of understand what it really takes to scale an artisan business in a world that's kind of just filled with shortcuts.
Yeah, especially now, guys, with where he started at in the business, growing up, in the 80s, the 90s, how the business has kind of transpired to where it's at now with social media and things like that. So we got a great show for you guys today. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys watching this video.
Yeah, and without further ado, Mr. Angelo Lollino, welcome to the show.
thanks for having me.
Of course.
Pleasure.
Yeah, welcome to the show. How's your day?
Day's good. It's a good Monday.
Is Mondays usually busy for you?
Yeah.
Mondays are busy?
Yeah, because you're kind of recouping from the weekend.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good. Hey, busy Mondays are good. That's great. You hear some restaurants, some companies, they don't have those busy Mondays. They kind of take off. They turn off for the Monday, and being busy on
Is
Monday
Masa open Monday through Sunday? Or
7 days.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. It's tough business in the restaurant business, but if you're going to be there, you might as well be open. People want to come.
Yeah.
I always said when people close on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Sunday, I'm like, listen, you're paying rent 7 days a week. Fortunately, I don't pay rent anymore, but you're paying rent 7 days a week.
Yep.
Every single hour counts. So if you have the team
I'm 100% in agreement with that. I tell the guys all the time.
Yeah.
Let's just start off. We like to talk about where you grew up. Let's talk about your family, when they came here, when your parents immigrated. Let's start with that, from the neighborhood, and kind of go from there.
My parents came to this country separately. My father came in the mid-'60s from Bari, and my mother came a little bit later, 2 or 3 years later. My mother's of Sicilian descent, but she was born and raised in Florence. My mother's father, my grandfather, was a master tailor in Florence. He got recruited and worked for Ferragamo and made custom suits back in the late 50s, early 60s. And they did an exchange program with Hart Schaffner Marks, who used to be a high-end suit maker here. And he was supposed to come for a year and then go back. So he left my grandmother and my uncle and my mom back home and came, loved it, brought them over. My dad had already opened up Bar Italia, which was an Italian bar. on Chicago Avenue, and it was the only place for Italians to go, really. It was the only true Italian bar cafe, right? They call them bars in Italy, but it's like a cafe.
Sure.
You guys have been, so you know.
Yeah. Yes.
It was the only place for Italians to go. So my mother went there, met my father, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
that Bar Italia, that was, you said, on which street was that? It was in...
Started on Chicago Avenue, was his first location, and then North Avenue and Laramie.
Okay. What time is that? Chicago
All
proper?
Chicago,
Yeah.
yeah. And then from there, he went to Diversey and Oak Park. And then from Diversey and Oak Park, we ended up on Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually my mother opened up the restaurant on Harlem, right next to, which eventually became Cafe Italia. And my mother opened up Ristorante Italia right next door, which was, yeah, we can talk about that. It was an amazing place. But my dad, which is really cool, was one of the first people to introduce espresso coffee in this country. He started roasting about 67, 68. He already had the bar, the cafe. He imported a coffee roaster and started roasting coffee. So he was, really one of the first people to introduce espresso coffee in this country. Needless to say, I probably should be living on some
royalties or something.
Family named island
Yeah.
somewhere. But anyways, it all worked out. It worked out great for me and my brother because we were, the cool things now in food I grew up with in the 70s and 80s. The things that my parents were doing back then was just kind of, a little odd back then.
Taboo.
It wasn't even taboo. It was just, it just wasn't.
Strange.
Who drank espresso?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not
Just the
Americans.
Italians,
Right.
right? Oh, what is this little, it's bitter? It's,
Right,
now,
right.
Look how popular an affogato has become.
Oh, my wife makes a great affogato. She
Yeah,
makes
there you go.
Yeah.
We have that problem now. Like we'll go out to dinner and we're going out at, 8:00 for dinner. We get done 9:30. We come out. We're like, for one, every time you go to a place, they never have espresso, or it's not espresso. It's basically a massive coffee that they call espresso.
Yeah.
And we're looking for a place, at least around here in Elmhurst, Phillip Park, Lombard. It's like fuck it, man. Maybe we should just start one because it's just there's nothing.
Call it Two Stunads.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great name. Yeah. They come and see us. They're like, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with these guys.
But it's almost like, like Dolce V, like a
Yes.
social club,
Yeah.
for the guys or for the girls or whatever. Just, a place for camaraderie, come together. Like, I don't know, maybe that's in our culture, just, going to the piazza after dinner, walking, things like that versus, okay, we're going to go home and just watch TV,
Yeah.
But that's amazing. He's got to be in the Italian American Hall of Fame. He has to for that.
My dad, is he? No, I don't think he is.
We should
gonna
have a
nominate him.
petition.
I'm
Yeah.
nominating.
We just
Done.
lost my dad in May of this year.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah. He lived 92 great years.
Wow.
God bless. Yeah.
Almost a century, man. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Going through the wars and stuff like that and everything.
Yeah.
My grandparents came here in 1955, and they lived through World War II. My papa was born in 1933, and just the stories that they have.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, to come from nothing and just come here, like we talk about all the time, you got to have a lot of balls to come to a country. You
pick
don't know
up.
the language,
Yeah.
don't have family, nothing, no dollar in your pocket, and
Think about that.
I mean, we ask ourselves the same thing. Can I do that? If I went to, Russia or some other place and tried to start a life, how do you do that now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, times are definitely different. And, you got to kind of put things into perspective with that. But thinking about my parents and what they did and what they exposed us to, again, I think back now and I'm just blown away by it, man. I can't believe neither of them had, really good educations.
Sure.
My mother did, but not really, So for them to have come to this country and do what they did is, and many Italian Americans, if you look at, just in our area, all the successful Italian families that built amazing businesses, it's cool.
It is. Yeah, it's great to see. I'm proud to say that I'm Italian, that I've got family as well that have built a few businesses, and it's great to see. It's great to see the success that they've built up, especially coming from another country. Like just to come to another country and then put your mark on it and say, I'm going to build this, and people know what this is. And like, it's a great, it's a proud moment, very proud moment.
Yeah. Well, besides them putting in the hard work, I feel like back then a lot of, and we've talked about this on the show before, like a lot of Italians helped each other back then, where now it's like you're fighting with so many different businesses and ages and things like that. It's like there's no kind of collaboration. Yeah. You know, like we've talked to people before that they've gone to other places. Like I was in Boston for the St. Anthony's Fest.
The best.
I mean, I feel like everywhere you go over there, every business owner is trying to help the next guy out across the street. And like here, it's like, whether you want to call it cutthroat, and I understand business, everyone's got to make money and do this, but it's just like, guys, how did these guys before do it? They're still friends, business owners. How can we collaborate together?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a problem. It's really a problem, man, and I preach it all the time. And it's crazy that you said that, because I make that example of the North End all the time. They're all together. They're working together. There's no jealousy. You know, they're doing their thing. We're here. It's like, I don't get along with this guy. This guy doesn't get along with this guy. Oh, who? You know, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's one of those, like if you haven't been, you guys are listening or watching, you guys got to go to the St. Anthony's Fest. It's late August. It's always a great time. You know, just when I went there, like you're talking to people that aren't even from Boston, but you feel like you're just part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, and everywhere you go, everyone's just, hey, how can I help you? Or, you know, take a seat, sit down, this and that. Besides the food being phenomenal, you could spend an entire month just trying every restaurant.
Yeah. There's so many Italian restaurants.
So many.
And they all thrive. It's crazy.
That's great. Yeah. They're all helping each other. Yeah. They're all trying to get to that next. That's great. Yeah. Good for them.
When did you start working in the coffee shop or the cafe? How old are you?
My mother ended up building a kitchen. So my mother had aspirations to be a chef. Spending time in Florence, you know, the culinary there is pretty advanced. And so she was aspiring to be a chef. She wanted to work in a kitchen. And she was a great cook. And my dad built her a little kitchen at, you know, the bar, cafe, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was literally an Italian bar up front, il bancone, the you know, if you go to Italy now, you see these beautiful espresso height bars where people go up, they order espresso. The barista, a real barista, is, you know, making you coffee. You serve it, you talk, you drink, culture, man, and you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he had. In the back, he had one room where all the Italians played briscola, scopa, you know, all that stuff. 81, and then the room on the other side of that was where the coffee roaster was. He built my mother a little kitchen. We had our table there, and it was either used for that or my dad managed the semi-pro soccer team. And, you know, like on the weekends after practices and whatever, they would all come there and they would kind of use that room for meetings or whatever.
Nice.
But that's where I grew up, man. I was around the front,
in the culture,
the bar, you know, making espressos, you know, bitterino, chinotto, you know, things that, you know, now they're becoming popular.
Right.
You know what I mean? Aperitivo, digestivi, you know, Fernet and Averna and Campari and Aperol. Back then, that's when I said it when we started, they were doing things back then that were like, whoa, what is this?
What is this?
Yeah.
Aperol, so bitter.
Yeah,
I can't, bitter. What are we drinking
Why
here?
do you think there's been such a massive pickup in the last, 10 years?
I think a lot of it has to do with people traveling to Italy. But you get a lot of these restaurant operators that are super innovative. They go to Europe, they get these ideas, they come back, they're on trend. Their restaurants are on trend, so people are coming in and they're pushing. They're pushing these sorts of drinks, and little by little, it just took off.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. You gotta go to the homeland. You gotta see what's over there. You gotta say, I can incorporate that in my area, my business, and then market. Bring it over here and market it, and just show, hey, this is what we got. Let's try this out. Let me know what you think.
How long until your mom started her restaurant from where she was there?
She opened up Ristorante Italia, I think it was 79 or 80, right on Harlem Avenue. And my dad had the cafe was still on Oak Park and Diversey. They were renting the space. They built out the restaurant. It was a struggle for the first couple of years. I mean, it was like how are we going to make it? She
Yeah.
was serving everything. So if you go in a restaurant and you order a pasta dish, they're starting that pasta dish out in a saute pan,
Right.
And then they take that saute pan, they plate it, and they send it out.
Right.
My mom served everything in the pan, either half pan or full pan. And she was doing dishes back then that are popular now. So I don't know what it was, but it just wasn't clicking, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was too
Fine
culinary
dining.
forward. No, it wasn't
Ahead of its
fine.
time, or
Ahead of its time, or yeah. But so a friend of the family reached out to Bob Wallace. Remember Bob Wallace from Channel 2?
I do.
How old are you guys?
I'm 34.
37.
I'm 38. What do you think?
Hey, you look good.
Bob Wallace was the man back then. He was like he did all the special reports and all that stuff for CBS. But anyways, he came in and he did a show just on my mother's restaurant, and literally overnight,
Boom.
it just blew up, man. And she had almost a 30-year run there. She went from 20 seats all the way up to 360 seats with
Wow.
with a banquet room. Eventually, my dad moved there. They bought half of the
Expanded.
block.
Yeah.
And, that's where we grew up. We grew up on Harlem Avenue. We grew up there. My mother somehow developed a heavy Jewish following. So all the North Shore Jewish people would come to her restaurant. Oprah Winfrey was there almost every Sunday. She had her Christmas parties there, her holiday parties there, her
Wow.
birthday parties there.
That's crazy.
They showed up with 2 white sheeps alive. Her staff bought for her because she just had bought a farm somewhere. But yeah, man, it was just you go from my mother originally started cooking, then she had 2 Napoletan ladies cooking, both named Marie, Skinny Marie and Big Marie. Maria Oriema was Skinny Marie, and Maria Camponigri was Big Marie. And anybody my age and older knows these 2 ladies. They're rock stars. And
Yeah.
my mother had both of them working there. But you're getting inspired by that. Just imagine, you know what I mean? Hanging out in a kitchen, watching all this cool stuff go down, and then going next door and we're making gelato and we're roasting coffee. And, so just my whole life, man, just being injected with this. And I got to tell you, man, fortunately for me, I wake up every day and I'm still loving what I do. I feel blessed that I was exposed to all that, because I don't even think that can be taught. I mean,
Right.
it's just,
Yeah, where do you go?
so-
Do an apprenticeship in Italy? I mean, but even then,
yeah, but you're not learning all of
No.
it,
Yeah.
So,
All sides of the business.
those are all those years of experience.
right.
I mean, the golden ticket.
yeah. And it's thankfully it's been good for me and my family. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're just getting started though.
You're crushing it. Like, so speaking of getting started, like, how did, you're working at your family's place and you're thinking to yourself, like, okay, this is something that I can do, or how did you branch out then? Like, what was the light bulb moment that said, I need to do my own thing?
So right out of high school, my brother and I went straight to work for my dad, right? So we basically ran the coffee company. We were on the street selling coffee to restaurants, hotels. We started to do trade shows around the country. So by 17 or 18, I was already suited up, going around doing trade shows. On the weekends, we helped my mother out. And then unfortunately, right around when I got married in 93, my parents decided to get a divorce. And my brother and I got wedged in the middle of it, old school Italian parents. I hate to say it, there's an ignorance factor there. And we just couldn't take it anymore. So,
Yeah.
we knew that after the divorce, we didn't know what our future was going to be. We didn't know, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It started with nothing, and it was rough. So we left. We left. We had no money. We didn't know what we were going to do, but we were done. We couldn't deal with it anymore. It got really hostile. I was in the music business during that period. I had a recording studio, record label, and I was kind of doing, I kind of grew up in and out of the music business.
Okay.
From a DJ
Nice.
to doing dance parties and teen dances.
Yeah.
And, all kinds of crazy
Do you
stuff.
sing? You got a voice on you?
No,
or
hell no. No.
Okay.
So I was kind of playing around with that. And then my brother and I decided, hey, we're just going to go on our own and open our own coffee company.
Okay.
So we started Fratelli Lollino Coffee Company. Fratelli meaning brothers.
Mm-hmm.
We borrowed $10,000 from a buddy of ours' father, and we went to our competitor, Italian guy Vito. God bless him, man, good man. He's like, oh, your father's going to get mad at me, and we're like, listen, my father's going to get mad no matter what. If it's not you, we're going to go somewhere
Somebody
else.
else.
We need some help, man. That's
Yeah.
it. And he says, okay, go do use the roaster, do whatever you want, And we started, and it was tough. I just had gotten married. I already had my son. My wife got pregnant right away with twins. My brother
Wow.
had young kids, and we were just like,
In the thick of it.
yeah, robbing Peter to pay Paul just to stay alive, writing
Yeah.
checks that we couldn't cash, and but I hate to say it this way, we were gritty motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
We just did not. We were just relentless, man. We wanted to succeed. We wanted to do it the right way, and we just, stayed on it. And little by little, we grew. We kind of got over that hump. 99, I opened up Masa. And in 2004, we got bought out. We sold the company. It wasn't retirement money, but it was enough to take a deep breath. I stayed on and retained 20% of the business. But then after a year and a half, I just, my heart wasn't in it anymore. So
Sure.
I got out.
Same location?
The coffee company moved from Grand Avenue in Harlem to Schiller Park. We were right on River Road.
Yeah. I know exactly where you guys were at.
Yeah. Yeah. We occupied a 30,000 square foot building there. Now it's broken up.
Yeah,
into
they got like an
separate-
axe throwing over there and stuff
yes,
like that.
Gianotti's had opened in that
Mhm.
same mall. We occupied that whole building. We got bought out. I had Masa. I had opened up another Masa at Navy Pier. It was seasonal. I opened up another one at UIC, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna just continue to open up Masas.
Yeah.
I thought I'm helping other people open up cafes by selling them coffee, selling them gelato.
Right.
It was just kind of like, I'll do it,
Yeah.
right?
Kind of an obvious next step or
Why
something.
am I going to sell a pound of coffee for, at the time, $6 or $7 when I can sell a coffee for 6 or 7? You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, I thought I had it figured out.
Yeah.
So I did that. The UIC location wasn't working out. Trying to figure out what my next move was. I had my eyes set on coming west to open up another location west. And 2008, I got a phone call from Bob Mariano. Bob, I don't know, everybody knows who Bob Mariano is now, but back then, Bob was known for Dominic's, Finer
Right.
Foods, right? He
Yep.
worked for the DiMatteo family and helped develop the Fresh Store. Do you remember when it went from Dominic's Finer Foods to Dominic's The Fresh Store?
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first people to introduce prepared foods in a grocery store, chicken wings and pizza and, cooked,
Right.
ready to eat. Anyways, he built that company, took it public, sold it to Safeway, and then got involved with Roundy's, which is a Wisconsin-based co-op grocer, and decided that after his non-compete was up, he was going to come back and open up in Chicago. So he called me and, hey, Ange, how are you? I knew him from Dominic's. He just had married Nina Mariano. Nina, his current wife, used to be married to my cousin, just by chance, and their son is Pasquale Gianni. You guys got to know Pasquale.
If I've seen his face, maybe.
For sure. Yeah, he's involved.
Okay.
Great kid. So anyways, we all knew each other. I was very close with Nina's father, Dominic DeFrisco,
Okay.
who was one of the best Italian-American human beings in the world, man. Just a great guy. Too bad he's not around anymore. You guys would have loved this guy, man. Just amazing. he told me that he was going to come back to Chicago. He was negotiating a lease in Arlington Heights, and he wanted to, put an authentic Italian cafe. Will you meet with me? And I said, yeah, sure. He says, all right, Regina's going to call you. My secretary, Regina's going to call you, and we'll set something up, and I'll come see you. Okay. Set it up. Met with him on December 18th. Not expecting, I was under a non-compete.
Sure.
Right? I had 2 years left on my non-compete. My mind wasn't, when he said he was coming back to Chicago, I was like, there's no room for another grocery store here, man. Who are you kidding?
Right.
Tough market.
Well, yeah.
But it ended up working.
You had Caputo's coming out, starting to boom all over the place.
I mean, it was Trader Joe's was booming. Whole Foods was exploding. I just, in my mind, I thought,
Fresh Times, all those places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, he's asking me to meet with me. I got to meet with him.
Sure.
I don't.
Yeah, give him a shot.
I'm not going to say no. And I didn't even think of it as a business opportunity. I swear.
Yeah.
I thought of it as, hey, I'm going to help this guy out. It's, it's Pasquale, who's my cousin, his stepfather. It's Dominic's son-in-law. I got to do this.
Right.
So,
going back to being a good Italian.
Yeah.
And helping other Italians.
Spot on.
Yeah. And crazy enough, later on that night, Dominic DeFrisco called me and said, Bob's going to be calling you.
Okay.
Make sure you take care of him. I'm like, yeah, I already talked to him. He called me earlier. I'm like, don't worry about it. He's like, no, you make sure you look out for him. He was engaged to his daughter,
Yeah.
And Dominic was a connector. He was a PR public relations genius, just an amazing guy, but he connected everybody. So I said, yeah, no problem. So Masa on North Avenue was across the street from Dominic's store number 2. So the second Dominic's to ever open was where now Fresh Time is.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when he came, it was still Dominic's, right? So we sat down. He brought his vice president, Don Fitzgerald, with him. Again, I wasn't really prepared for a business meeting.
Sure.
I was prepared, to help this guy out. Yeah, do this, do that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started telling me the story about Dominic. He's like, the old man would fucking get a tow truck and rip that sign off. And talking about Johnny's Beef, how Dominic DiMatteo used to own that property. And the old man, he calls him the old man, gave the property to Johnny's and, just all kinds of cool stuff. I'm just sitting back listening to this guy, and he gets into it, and he's like, I was the first grocer to do a deal with Howard Schultz with Starbucks.
Okay.
My Dominic store on whatever store was in the city was the first grocery store to do a Starbucks.
Inside.
Howard Schultz chose the Chicago market because he was told that you'll never succeed in the Midwest or in Chicago. So that's where he went. After Seattle.
He's like, oh, yeah, watch.
It's true. It's a true story.
But what a great play, though, bringing a coffee shop inside of a grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, you never saw that until Starbucks did it.
Yeah, you have a committed following.
Right.
They're all there. So anyways, he's like, but I want to do something authentic. And, he always made comments about, I want a cappuccino like you get in Milan, And I'm like, yeah, no problem, like this. And he's drinking his drink at Masa. And I'm like, you should think about doing gelato too, He's like, oh, what do you think? Who's going to make it? I said, I'll make it for you, So we got up, we walked up to the gelato case, let him try some. He's like, yeah, this would be cool. 2 hours, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Him and Don walk out, and they're standing in front of Masa, and Bob was very animated, and he's, telling Don, so I go in the office. Don gave me his card, and I look up Roundy's.
Yeah.
And the office at Masa is like the size of this corner, right? It's nothing.
Right.
So I go on. I look up Roundy's. Bob Mariano, Chairman Bob, and there's a bunch of videos. So he's like a celebrity in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Chairman Bob approved. So any self-branded item, private label item that was Roundy's Select or whatever,
right,
he would go to source like the potato chip factory or to the orange orchard, and they would film him, and he would try it and he would say approved.
Right.
So anyway, so I started reading about Roundy's, and I don't know, at the time they were like $3.2 billion in gross revenue, 90 something grocery stores, and I'm like, wow, wow, man, that's big.
Yeah.
And I remember pushing my chair out and looking, and they were still out there. You know, he was talking. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So I started to type an email. I'm like, what am I sending an email for? What? You know, they called me, you know, whatever. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Nothing, man. Almost a month went by.
Silence.
I didn't even think about it anymore. And then I got the call. I got the call from Don. He says, oh, we want to come back and see you. I'm going to bring Karen with me. And she came. He didn't come. And she started asking me about the pizza. Yeah, Bob said to try your pizza and, you know, pizza, gelato. And she's like, oh, man, you know, Bob loves you, you know. We want to invite you up, you know, to Milwaukee. Okay. My car, go up to Milwaukee a couple of weeks later. And I pull up to Roundy's headquarters. And it's a friggin', you know, not a high-rise, but at least a mid-rise plus.
Yeah.
It's, you know, 30-something story building that they occupied the majority of. And I was just like, what the?
What are we doing?
What is little Angelo doing here? You know?
Right.
So I'm all suited up, you know, go in, sit in a boardroom. They open up the blueprints. This is the Arlington Heights store now, right? No
Okay.
name yet. It's not called Mariano's. And there was a little section, and it said, Angelo's Italian Specialties. It didn't say, you know, cafe. It said Angelo's Italian Specialties. And I looked at it. I'm like, wow, you know.
Who the fuck's Angelo?
Yeah, who the fuck's this guy?
See, he's got a spot over
is
here.
that me?
Yeah.
And he made a joke. Bob wasn't there. Don said, oh, look, we put your name on there. You know, he circled it with pencil on the thing. And anyways, back and forth. So I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, what are these guys doing? Are they stealing my ideas? You know,
Right.
You know, coming from a Italian, you know, being brought up Italian, man.
That's the first thing you think of.
Insecure, you know. You're like, fuck, these guys are taking everything from me, man.
Yeah.
And so finally, an hour into it, I'm like, Don, can you explain to me how am I working with you? Where are the synergies that, you know, how do you see it? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
I'm in the dark over.
I'm
Help
coming
me out.
back and forth. He's like, no, Bob said you're with us. And I'm like, okay, I'm with you, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Help me out a little bit. So I said, look, if we can get an NDA signed, which I didn't even know what an NDA was back then.
Yeah.
But I talked to my lawyer and he told me, you know, he obviously described it, non-disclosure agreement.
Right.
And I said, if we can get an NDA signed, you know, we'll be good.
Right.
He says, no problem. Let me get legal down. Bill Dowling. I know all these people firsthand because I spent a lot of years working with them.
Yeah.
Shows up on the spot, comes down. What do you need? And I said, no, I just, you know, we're talking and, you know, I'm emailing them specs of gelato cases and not a fucking word about what we're doing.
Yeah.
How we're working together.
Right.
No problem. I'll have it to you before you leave. I'm like, no, just email it to me, you know? No. Hour later, he comes down. I have it. I review it. I'm like, maybe I should let my lawyer see it. I'm like, fuck it.
I've been there, yeah.
Go. You know?
It's one of those where you're in the right place, right time.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be there if, you know, they didn't want you there.
Yeah. I got in my car, driving home, Bob called me because Don called him and said, you know, what's up with Ange, man? He's all freaked out. Well, little did I know behind the scenes, Bob is telling his executive team, we need this fucking kid with us.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I don't know if he swore, but we need this kid with us because, you know, he's thinking to himself, I want to do this, which I didn't know. I want to do this Italian themed grocery store with all this prepared foods and stuff. Mm-hmm. This kid's a fucking genius with Italian food. He knows coffee. He knows gelato. He knows the hustle. You know what I mean? I get the chills, man. He just fucking connected with me, man. And he's like, I need this kid with me. So I'm like, no, it's fine, Bob. I said, I just don't know. He's like, I told you, we were going to do the same deal I did with Schultz, with Starbucks. Thinking to myself,
I don't remember saying that.
fucking remember you saying that to me, but he probably did.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're going to do a licensing deal, you know? Don't worry about it. You're going to do well. I got you covered. Just tell your lawyer to call Bill and, you know, it'll be fine.
Right.
I got you. I promise you're going to be fine. So I hung up and I'm like, okay, man.
Yeah.
I got to go. So we started with lawyers, 8 months. I got a dear friend of mine, but at the time an inexperienced corporate attorney, right?
Okay.
And they have these super high-end corporate attorneys, including internal counsel, right? So my lawyer was just kind of complicating things, and they would call me on the sign. They're like, Ange, this guy's going to fuck up the deal, man.
What's he doing over
So I
here?
would call John. I'm like, dude, you got to relax. He's like, what are you talking about, relax? You need to start valuing yourself more. I'm like, the guy's telling me he's going to pay me $175 an hour. He's going to do this. He's going to buy coffee from me, buy gelato from me. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't fuck the deal up, man.
Yeah. Anyways, so we made a deal. Karen Franceschi, who was my main person to deal with for that department, said, no, we're just going to call it Cafe. And I said, Karen, we can't just call it Cafe because, people need to be associated with the brand. Starbucks is successful because they do a very good job with product, service, all that, but it's a brand. People are brand whores. They want to be associated with.
They do.
They feel cool walking around with a Starbucks cup, right? And just imagine at the time. So I convinced her. I said, let me just present something to Bob, No. She was trying to talk me out of it. So I said, screw it. We had a meeting 2 weeks later with his board, his CFO, all those people to talk about how we were going to get the gelato to all the stores as we opened these stores, right? First store we did it, we were going to do it at Massa, which technically you're not supposed to do, but whatever.
Okay.
So I found a design firm, did me the favor, paid them $3,000. I came up with 3 names, Vero, Cremoso, and Dolcetto. Those were the 3 names I came up with, right? I loved Vero, but I had to give them 3 options. So they put this whole, I don't know, maybe eight pages of talking about the 3 brands, what they meant. They asked me, how do you envision this? And I said, vintage, Italian, Vespa, and Fiat Cinquecento, and, all this cool stuff. So they put this amazing proposal together. I went to the meeting. Meeting was over. I said, gentlemen, I just need 2 more minutes of your time. Regina let me set up my laptop before the meeting in the middle. I had it on the screen. I handed out a pamphlet to everybody. I went through the presentation talking about the importance of a brand.
Yes.
And we got done, and I was just looking at me, and he just fucking smiled, man. He's
Crushed
like,
it. He knew.
I want Vero.
He knew.
Yeah.
And Vero was born, man. We opened up. I ended up opening up 62 locations with them. I did 44 Marianos, and then I did another 12 up in between Milwaukee and Madison.
Wow.
That Mariano's in Arlington Heights is nice, right off Northwest Highway.
Yeah.
It's not far from the clinic where my business is at.
It's the first one.
Yeah. It's nice there. It's a staple in the, it's almost downtown. It's right there in the downtown area. But
people were lined up out the door, man. And the first thing you saw when you walked in was this cafe, So
the smell, the aroma, the
gelato cake. We had Vespas hanging from the ceiling. It was fucking legendary, man. It was just what he did and what he created. I was like, this guy's out of his mind, man.
Yeah.
And I joke about it still to today. He says it to me. He's like, you thought I was crazy, right?
A little bit. It's a little bit.
But think about it. You guys went to Mariano's when it first opened.
I remember when it first opened. Yeah,
they were great stores.
They were the first ones you could drink wine and shop, all that stuff.
Yeah, just super cool. I developed their whole pizza program. I spent 13 years of my life. I built the facility that I'm in now just for them. And
where's that at?
Franklin Park.
Franklin Park.
Yeah. And then about 13 years into it, he took it public. And then a year and a half after that, I got a phone call from my CFO at the time, Steven Steinberg, and he said, blowing up my phone, man, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He was a stock, he was part-time for me. He was semi-retired, but he was a big stock guy. So he got all the news, quick. Finally, I'm like, Steve, what's up? He's like, they fucking sold. What are we going to do? And, I'm like, what? Who sold? And I got the news that he sold to Kroger.
Not even a tip-off.
I knew something was going on because the stock was suffering, and it was just kind of a goofy time.
Sure.
Something was up.
What year was that? Just about 13 years later.
Bob probably had to sign an NDA too.
Yeah, it was probably 17.
Yeah.
16, 17. He called me the next day and said, I'm going to meet with you on Friday. I met with him on Friday. And, he said, listen, I got your back. We're going to extend your contract. They really like Vero. But they're Starbucks people. So you need to start spreading your wings, I'm like, fuck, man. I think I had like maybe $300,000 left on a loan that I took. I was able to put my kids through great schools. I mean, I just did very well in that period, but to have it potentially taken away from you,
one
man,
big account.
Scary. Yeah.
It's scary, man. So I left that meeting. I called Eddie Greco, who I grew up with and personal friends with. And I said, hey, man, you obviously seen the news. I said, I got this fucking facility, man. I don't know what's going to, he's like, why? They're going to kick you out? I'm like, I don't know. No. Bob says no. He's going to extend my contract, but I'm nervous, man. Can you help me? He's like, yeah, I'll come by. So he came by, we talked, we walked through it. He's like, what are you worried about? Like, you got a great product. He's like, we'll distribute it. Well, I got you. Don't worry about it, I'm like, okay, so then I went from 100% of Mariano's being my business to now they're maybe 5% of my business, so one account after another, little by little, man, I got them, what I mean? I went after the Rosebuds and, all people that I know, Gibsons. Steve Lombardo was at my office today,
Back in the grind.
Yeah, just pound. And little by little, I picked off these accounts. And fortunately for me, they were supposed to keep Bob and the whole team around for, I don't know how many years, but it was supposed to be a decent amount of time. Bob was gone within 3 months. They started clipping all these people away. So finally I got paranoid. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to call the president.
Yeah.
I met him one time, Michael Marks. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to meet with you. It's amazing how the executives, the most important people, will respond to your fucking emails. But the category managers and the small people, it's like weeks.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
Come on. Call me back. He's like, yeah, I would love to meet with you. I'd love to understand our relationship. And I'm like, okay. So I brought him down, showed him around. He sat down. He's like, why are we paying you a percentage of sales? I don't understand. And I'm like, well, that's what Bob and I agreed on.
That's the deal.
I'm bringing fucking people in.
Yeah, but he's like, well, we buy the coffee from you. We buy the gelato from you. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right.
Right.
I'm like, hey, it is what it is. I'm willing to negotiate. So as I'm talking to him, I'm like, I'm missing the point. Bob signed me up and is paying me because I was exclusive to them.
Mm-hmm.
Bob didn't even want me looking at another grocery store. And he would tell me all the time, he's like, they're going to come calling you. And he was right.
Yeah.
As these stores were opening, this cafe, well, Mariano's, but these cafes were popular. So all the other small guys that I grew up with, friends, they're calling me, come on, dude, I want to do a gelato for you. I want to do this. And I'm like,
I get what Bob's saying. You wanted to keep it in-house because people would come to the store.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's tough, man, because when you lose an account like that, you got to fight back for everything.
Takes a hit. It's a hit.
So he let me out of my exclusivity. And to be real honest, they've been great. They stayed on. We continue to do business together. But they're converting. They're converting to Starbucks and Stan's Donuts, and so little by little it's going away. But people always say, "Oh, you feel bad?" I'm like, only thing I feel bad about is what we built and how amazing those stores were from a product and a customer service perspective to what they've become. They've become, just an ordinary grocery store now, man.
Yeah.
So
it's all dollars and cents now at those
that's it.
big publicly
time.
traded companies.
Big time. Did Pete's ever get a hold of you, or were you?
Yeah, sure. I deal with Pete's. I make gelato for Pete's. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
because I
good
thought
people.
I saw them.
Yeah.
Saw you in there as well.
Yeah, they sell our pizzas. They sell our gelato. The only retailer we are not in is Jewel.
Jewel.
So Johnny Jewel, if you're watching, I want to get my product in your stores, man. Make it happen.
Give him a chance. Give him a
where's their
chance.
I don't know if his name
office?
is Johnny.
Okay.
Melrose Park.
Oh, Melrose Park, really?
Yeah. You got a guy
Yeah.
there?
No, I know where the Jewel's at in Melrose Park. I'm assuming it's behind their corporate office right there. Or no?
It's in between
North Avenue and
just before 25th.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not in the plaza then?
No,
over
no,
there.
no. It's big. There's a commissary back there and everything.
Yeah, because I see those trucks over there. They got massive trucks over there
Yes,
by the
they're
storage
always pulling
place right
out.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
On the north side.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of weird. I would never think that's their corporate office, but I guess so.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's
What a roller coaster. It's like you were starting from, where do I go? My parents are, going through this. I can't take anymore. Let's go start something. So you're starting from nothing, and then you're doing great, and then you're doing even better because you're going into all these Marianos, and then all of a sudden, a number of years go by, and you kind of got the rugs swept from underneath you a little bit.
potentially, yeah.
And so, what happened after that? Is that when, the other talk to me about the other brands and how they kind of came into play.
So I always had Massa going. I never stopped, right? I ended up buying the building there, and my wife graciously ran it and continues to do so. And right around that same time, I got a phone call from Skip Saviano, who was the mayor.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to be running for mayor. I want you to be one of my trustees. And I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind. I'm a businessman. I don't want to be an elected official. No, you got to do it. Come on, you're involved with the chamber, this and that. Please, I need you to do it with me. And I'm like, okay. So I did it. So I got elected into office. So I had to keep my hands in Elmwood Park, right?
Sure.
With the political side of it, but for my business, right? I raised my family there. I did everything there. And I always told my wife, as time went by, she would, this is a lot, all day, 7 days a week. And I said, listen, you got to hang on, because when you need $100 or you need $20, that place has given it to us when we had zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through thick and thin, that business has been there. We got to support Masa. I took the Vero brand, I got out of my exclusivity, and I just literally started to pound the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie was gracious enough to do the distribution for us. We started to do distribution in Arizona, Las Vegas, and all of his other distribution centers. We did a lot on our own. We do everything for the Dynamic Group. We do everything for the Gibsons Group, everything for Alex Dana at Rosebud. We have a lot of good key accounts for the gelato and coffee. 2017, from my experience in the grocery stores, I watched different segments of the business expand, right? Think about the snack aisle, how it went from Doritos and, all just the basic J's and Lay's and all that stuff to all the fancy stuff. The ice cream aisle did the same thing. It went from Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry's to, Jenny's and McConnell's. And these guys, we would do store walks the Monday before the store opened, right? And it was a 3 or 4 hour walk, and there was 7 or 8 of us. I was his one of his main food guys, so I walked with them, and it's the same story every time. Why is there a hole there? What is this? And they would make comments. One of the guys would make comments about how the pizza section was just boring, and somebody's got to do something nice. So I'd be like, So on the weekends, I would take my Sicilian at Masa, and I would make it, cook it, freeze it, and then, cook it. And I'm like, nah, you can't do it fully cooked. You got to cook it less. So I went
experimented.
I went and bought frozen pizzas, and I opened them. I'm like, all right, this is par cooked, okay. So I finally got it down pat. I started to hand it out to my family, and everybody's like, wow, this thing is amazing, man. I love it. I love it. So what that does is just, it adds more fuel to the fire. So like, all right, I'm going to do it again next weekend. Boom, 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 boom. Now I'm giving it to my chef friends, And this thing is fucking amazing, man. It's best frozen pizza I ever tried. So now I'm like, yeah. I can do this. It's literally the most competitive segment of the grocery store.
The pizza aisle.
The pizza aisle. Well, yeah, dude, think about it. You can buy Jack's 2 for $5. And,
Right.
here Angelo comes with all these amazing ingredients, the best cheese, grande cheese, California fresh packed tomatoes, Greco, just fucking amazing pizza
Yeah.
at, $12.99 a pizza. In 2016, 2017, people were like, yeah, okay.
Touch on that.
You got to think about who's your ideal client buying a frozen pizza.
Right. Yeah.
but
It's almost like
still hard.
yeah, it's like the Voss of water. It's like
Yes.
I could drink Voss, but
I'll drink Ice Mountain
yeah,
or
Ice
something.
Mountain Natural Spring is the
Yeah,
same shit, almost.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But this pizza eats differently, man. It's a 48-hour fermented crust. It's high hydration. It's hand-docked in extra virgin olive oil. We're using all the best ingredients on it. Long story short, I launched this thing, and I'm struggling with it. Right now, it's draining my gelato and coffee business, right?
Okay.
Because now I'm trying to build a branded pizza item
Yeah.
locally. And so I bought this shrink wrap machine. We ended up picking up another big account. The shrink wrap machine was always in the way in the production room. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this pizza thing, man.
Get it out of here.
I lofted everything, and then COVID hit. It was like within 60 days of me, I had enough inventory, COVID hit, right? What's going to happen? Everybody was freaking out.
Not a question.
So after like 2 or 3 weeks, people started doing home delivery. It became a thing. So my wife's like, why don't you start delivering the pizzas, I'm like, she's like, but you got all the stickers and, you got everything. Why?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want to start making crust again. And so we took them, we started doing it. Again, it was, people were really, really enjoying it. People were enjoying frozen food during COVID, it was just kind of weird. And then I was a big follower of Dave Portnoy.
Yes.
My kids went to University of Wisconsin, and at one of the games, he had a party there, a bar stool party. And so, man, I didn't get introduced to him. I got introduced to Barstool, So little by little, I started to learn about Barstool and, 4 years of them being there. And I started following Dave Portnoy, and he was doing these reviews, pizza reviews, right?
Right.
During COVID, he decided to do frozen reviews, right? So that's all he did was frozen.
Okay.
You can look it up.
Yeah.
I got to get this guy a pizza. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call Eddie. Barstool Eddie? You guys got to know Eddie. Yeah.
In the city.
So he grew up with my kids. So great kid. I did a podcast with him, the dog walk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, he knows those guys, So I called him. He's like, yeah, just let me know when you ship it and I'll let them know, Okay.
Yeah.
I ship it. I sent him a picture of the shipping label. I'm at UPS right now at the airport.
Hopefully this fucker gets there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next day deliver. Can you
Yeah,
deliver
and you
today?
know how-
Just
you know
send
how
the
I
fucking
get-
guy. Just send the
Yeah.
guy now.
Dry ice? Was it boxed up in dry ice?
Yeah,
or?
but you know how I got this guy's address?
Which is crazy.
Yes, because it got so crazy with COVID that he would do at 5 o'clock Central Time his pizza review, still is. And then at 8 o'clock, he would do the unboxing. So he would go in the basement of this, it was like a 3-story condo building, and people were just sending him all kinds of shit, hats, and he's a big sports.
Right.
You guys know who he is.
Yep.
Yes.
So sorry.
You're good.
So he's opening up boxes, and he folds the box open, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, that's the address. Rewind, go back, take a snapshot of it, blow it up. I got his address.
This guy over here.
Yeah.
Detective work.
He's a PI over here.
So anyways, I didn't get anywhere the first time. I think it was like $300-something for me to overnight it because of the dry ice and everything.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe 3 weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, I said, screw it, I'm going to try it again.
Yeah.
Right. So I packaged up another bunch, called Eddie. He's like, all right, I'm going to call Frankie directly. Frankie was Dave's original camera guy.
Okay.
His father owns John's Bleecker on Bleecker Street, which is a famous pizzeria there.
Okay.
So send it out. I think that was on a Monday. On a Thursday, I get a text from Eddie. They got it. It's in queue, but I don't know when they're going to review it. Stay tuned. So I hung up the phone with him. I called John Paul, who was handling our marketing website, social media at the time. I'm like, dude, if he reviews this thing and it goes well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
How are people going to get the pizza? We're going to have to ship it. But,
Right.
they're going to go on our website. It's going to be a disaster. You got to help me. He's like, Ange, I don't know anything about that. He's like, all right, let me research it. I'm like, oh my God, who am I going to call? So I call Mark Schulman, who is the owner of Eli's Cheesecake.
Yeah.
We did a collaboration flavor. We still do it. I was with him today as well. And I told him what's going on. He's like, no problem. Come here and I'll show you, So they ship their cheesecakes.
Yes.
It's got a whole shipping department that just does that, He's like, don't worry about it. You want to do it here. He didn't understand what it, really what it was.
Yeah, right.
He's just like, yeah, whatever. Well, sure enough, Saturday or Friday, he does the review and he gives us a good score.
Yeah.
And literally at 5:00, that's when the review was. By 5:08, my cell phone is pinging from emails, from orders coming in.
Yeah.
And we sold like 30,000 pizzas, man.
God bless.
And we screwed it up bad. We didn't put enough dry ice. People were complaining. And I was just like, resend it to them.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just
it's about the brand.
I didn't want to,
man.
And that kind of gave me the push and the confidence to
That's
a great story.
Yeah, it really is.
So
that's amazing. You mentioned your wife a couple times and how she's supported you. Can we dive into what's her name? What's your wife's name?
Giovanna.
Yeah. Can we talk about how much of an impact she was throughout your, just starting out, and then you said that she took over Masa a little bit. Like, how has that helped you?
Yeah, how is that, family dynamic? Obviously, we own businesses. We get the back end, like the stress and this and that. But we want the viewers and listeners to kind of understand, just besides us telling them, the shit that you got to go through.
Yeah. So that is actually a very interesting story because I grew up with her dad. Mm-hmm. Her dad used to be at my dad's bar all the time.
Right.
All the Italian dads were there. That's where they all went. And so I was around Vince my whole life. I dated a girl in high school. She got pregnant. We thought we were smart. It ended up working out. I had a baby when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just turned 18, right? I wasn't even with the girl anymore. I had the kid. She got custody of him. Not got custody of him. Her and her mother were watching my son, Joey. Great people, just, we were kids.
Sure.
What did we know? So we split up, and I started just hanging out with a bunch of people from my area, from the Harlem Avenue area. And I met my wife. One of my friends was in love with her. So I had to back off, and I started dating one of her friends. And then once I saw that she wasn't going to take him, I left that girl. And
how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
And her dad did not like it, man, because I already had a kid. I was a knucklehead. I was always in trouble on Harlem Avenue.
Old school dad.
Yeah, just, he's no good and this and that. So I approached him at my dad's bar one day, and he says, just leave my daughter alone. Please don't tell your father. My father had the reputation of, my dad was ruthless, but stay away from my daughter. I'm like, Vince, I'm not going to do anything. But
right.
You know what? I don't give a shit. Stay away from my daughter. Okay, Vince. So the more he pulled her away, the more she came. You know what I mean? So, and then little by little, we started to fall in love. And then there was a period for like 3 days, she was MIA, right?
Okay.
After that 3 days, she basically went up in her room and said, he didn't go to work. The mother didn't go to work. It was like this big drama. He was dead set to convince his daughter not to be with me. And he went upstairs and he said to her, okay, enough. You choose him or us. Well, she got up. Now, she's a kid. I'm a kid with a kid. it's just like this whole cluster,
Yeah.
She leaves the house. She walks to Maria's Mexican restaurant, which was just off of Diversey, the original location there.
Yeah.
And she calls me from the payphone, crying, come pick me up, Go pick her up. What happened? She tells me, what are we going to do? We're driving around. Now, I'm back living with my parents out in Bloomingdale. And my dad was super cool, loved women, but if I would have showed up with some Troya, he would have been fine with it.
That's a technical term.
Yeah, he would have been cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Walio. But if I show up with a nice Italian girl that he knew the parents, he was not having it. So finally by 2:00 in the morning, I'm like, all right, I got to call my dad. What do I get a hotel room?
Yeah.
Now the guilt starts setting in. You're like, oh my God, what did I do? This poor kid,
Right.
She was 3 years younger than me, but we were both kids. She was a baby. She was 17. So I called my dad. He answered the phone and he said, yeah, okay, bring her home. Don't worry about it. So we got home. My dad was packing up to go hunting. My mom got up. Do your parents know? And she's talking to my wife. She's like, no, she's crying back and forth. She's like, all right, give me your home number. My mom called the mom and said, hey, I just want you to know she's here with me and, everything's okay.
She's safe. Yeah.
And that was it. We stayed there for 2 months. I ended up renting an apartment, kitty corner from that Maria's in Elmwood Park. She was from Elmwood Park. And we just celebrated 33 years, man.
Wow.
So she raised my son. I got custody of him when he was about 1.5 years old. And she's a fucking rock star, man. She raised my son. 6 months later, she got pregnant with twins. And she's raised 3 wonderful kids. My son's Joey's married, gave me 2 beautiful grandkids. My daughter Gianna just got married 3 weeks ago. And my daughter Elisa is getting married in August of next year.
Beautiful.
And we all work together. They all work with me. And yeah, man, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes.
And your wife.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Fuck. I'm trying to think if my wife would choose, if I had to put my wife in that situation, I don't know. Back then, especially when you're young. I mean, I met my wife, through Eddie Greco.
Really?
Yeah. So my best friend in high school was Pat Greco.
Ah, okay.
Her cousin. So we went to, high school together, wrestled. I saw her at a party. First time I saw her, went home and told my mom I'm going to marry this girl. Now she's 2 years younger, right? So we didn't get together. I was 20, she was 18. It was like, last thing I wanted was, all right, well, I'm not going to ruin a relationship with my best friend, if something goes south. And I remember at the time, you're just so young then. I'm 34 now. It feels like it was yesterday, to be honest with you. Now we have kids and stuff, but then you're like, man, the stuff that we did back then, if I didn't have my wife to push me, I don't think I'd be as far as I would. Yeah. I think same thing for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of in the early stages of entrepreneurship, getting a business off the ground. And she's just at my, you got this. This is, don't worry, take your time. Don't worry about this, that, or whatever. I'll take care of it. And you need that dynamic. You need that peace that okay, I could do this. I could focus on this. And I know everything's okay back at home. And it's just such a weight lifted off your shoulders, off your chest, that knowing that everything's taken care of. And it sounds like you had that quite a bit growing with your wife, Giovanna.
Yeah. Listen, man, we had the coffee company. We had Massa. She ran Massa. She was raising little kids. We were kids raising kids. It was crazy. But listen, it all worked out, man.
Yeah.
We worked hard. We never gave up. And we just, we progressed little by little.
Do you talk to your in-laws?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
We made peace 6 months later. Yeah.
Oh, good.
He finally came to.
Yeah.
And, now I'm the best.
Yeah.
It's tough though, man.
Yeah,
Those old school Dagos, they're stubborn.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine telling my daughter, You know, it's tough. Like I've got 2 daughters too. And, you know, you never think that day's going to come where like, you know, a guy comes in and you're just there and you're like, fuck, is he going to take care of her as good as I am?
Yep.
I mean, you get it. You just had your daughter get married. It's like you're passing the baton.
Yeah.
You know, no one's going to love your daughter as much as you do.
Yeah.
So, but that's stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see your 2 daughters. I haven't met them, but I saw that you guys, I think you posted something on your page that you guys are doing a collaboration or something like that recently, or they were at Greco, or how are they involved in the business?
They helped me run the company. Yeah. My daughter Gianna came first. I mean, they both got great degrees. She was pre-med. Elisa was in doing, what is that called? Like advertising, not advertising. It was marketing,
PR.
but no. Anyway, she had a great job, making really good money. They both had good careers going. And then Gianna called me first because my son was working with me. Gianna called me first. I'm like, gee, you're supposed to start school. Now she was going to go, decided she was going to become a PA, physician's assistant. I don't know, Dad, and, you know, can I meet with you? So we met. I'm like, listen, honey, I'm not going to say no to you.
Right.
You want to come? Come. And I'm not going to lie, man, for the first 12, and I just said this in my speech at her wedding. I'm like, it was like a deer in headlights, man, for the first 12 months. I would go home and tell my wife, I'm like, what did I do? You know, what is this poor girl going to do? She just, you know, it's just so much coming at her. You know, remember now, we got a restaurant, got a coffee brand, got a gelato brand, got grocery stores, and got, you know, all these moving parts going on. And she's trying to, you know, get a hold of it. But I got to tell you, man, she's a rock star too.
Picked it up.
Doing great. And then a year later, here comes Elisa, her identical twin sister. Dad, I think I'm ready. I want to come. Yeah, man, she's been with me for about 1.5 years now, and she's awesome too.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm blessed. I have a great team around me. I have great people, hardworking people. But it's really nice to have your family with you. My son's not with us anymore because he moved west of Randall Road. His wife, my daughter-in-law, is a dentist out in St. Charles, and it was just an hour and 15 in.
Yeah.
You know, it's just too much, raising 2 young kids. So I connected him with Eddie and those guys at Cheese Merchants, and he's kicking ass there. He's doing a good job. Yeah. So we're good. We're blessed.
That's awesome.
I think that's one of my fears, like building, you know, a business, building, you know, portfolios, this and that, and being like, my kids don't want it, you know, because it's like you do everything for your kids. And so, like, do you ever feel that way? Like, you know, you're building something, you're like,
I
man,
kind of
like,
do.
not
actually.
that you know, because you don't want to force them into, hey, you know, I want you to do this, but like, what are you going to do? You know, like,
right. What I'm trying to do is expose. So my oldest, Luca, he's 6 years old, and I'm, you know, he always sees me in front of the computer doing something, and I always say, hey, you want to see what Papa's doing? Come over here, I'll show you. And I'm showing him code. He doesn't know what the hell he's looking at, but I'm like, you want to write some code? You want to write? He's like, okay, yeah, how do you do it? So we sat down. We take a couple minutes, an hour, whatever, 45 minutes a night, and we sit in front of the computer. We start coding, and then I show him what he's building. So I put a picture of him. We build a little game. He's loving it. So
that's cool.
Just introducing him to what Papa's doing, and he's like, this is really cool. So like, and then like you kind of teach other parts. Like I'm sure it's kind of similar with you. Like this is what Dad does. This is what I'm doing. And like, if they want to do it, that's fine. If they don't want to do it, you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think it's the best when like my oldest daughter, Viviana, like comes to work. Like even though she might be a ruckus, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just something about having your kids there, and you doing it, and then like just them watching
really
you.
Ties
like,
it back to like, this is what I'm doing it for. This is what I'm doing it for. And
you're a chiropractor.
Yeah. So I own a chiropractic clinic called Forza in Arlington Heights, and then we built a pretty good real estate portfolio that we manage, and then I just started doing consulting with, you know, not just chiropractors, MDs, DOs, attorneys, how to run a business, how to do more like wealth preservation, putting people in contact. Because a lot of people can make money, they don't know how to save money, or they don't know how to take that income and you know, 10x it.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether they got a spending problem or they don't know their numbers. So I've just been really good with numbers and taking someone's books and their brand. That's why for me, I built Forza. I didn't build like a Drew's chiropractic office. I built a brand that's
Nobody would go if it
sellable.
was Drew's chiropractic office.
Yeah, but and I grew up around businesses. My grandfather was a driller. They raised me. They came from nothing, like I said. So that's just, it's just in it to talk business. That's one of the reasons why we started this podcast, is to, talk to business owners, talk to young entrepreneurs, help people out. These are the struggles. These are the failures. It's not always, grass ain't always greener on the other side. There's a lot of shit that goes on. But, you don't know how much this guy's watering his lawn, how much fertilizer he's putting on.
Right, exactly.
How much of the work that he did 10 years ago to get to this point. Everyone just sees the end game. And so just shining a light on that. And then obviously the Italian community, bringing people together, just, trying to build that bond back, because we feel, especially, us in our 30s, that like it's just very cliquey, it just, I don't know, it's just different than like, again, we jar eggplant. I have a cantina on the other side of this house. Like, I remember growing up with 150 pounds of pork on the table, like doing that stuff, making 400 jars of sauce. Like, those are the traditions that, besides, business, that like
we want to keep alive.
We want to keep alive, like
you have to.
And it's just, I don't know. That's it. But yeah, so it's nice to have your family together, because you want to give it to them. If I'm working this hard for you guys, like I want somebody to take it over. I don't just want to just let it go.
Right.
So it's cool to see like what your girls are going to do in 10, 20 years and where it's going to be. I mean, that's just, it's infinite, because it's just a constant compound effect.
Yeah. And for me, we started really young. So, I tell my girls all the time, I said, listen, I'm 54. By the time I get 60, I want to be able to just take a step back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll always work because I'm a worker. I work 7 days a week, but I want that pressure of building the business off of my back. And I'm here. I'll support you guys. I'll do whatever you want, but go. Whether whether I got to bring in a CEO or whatever to help them, I don't care. But at some point, I want to live.
Yeah, well, as well you should. You've earned that right.
Yeah.
That's a good question. How do you know? Like, I know a lot, I always ask myself, what's your exit plan? Like, what's mine? I mean, obviously my kids are young. I'm 34, but like, that's always something in the back of your head. Just like, I'll always be a worker. I'll never just want to just sit down, because I'll go crazy in the house. But like, what's the exit plan? Like, how do you become ready for that? How do you like know, like, you just feel in your body, you just one day just wake up, or you just talk with your wife, or like, how do you know that, it's the time to, pass the torch?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I am so aggressive in business, man. I'm just like constantly poking and, trying to grow nonstop. So I'm not thinking about an exit plan, but in my mind, I'm saying, all right, when I'm 60 in the next 5 years, I should be at a point where I can buy what I want, I can do what I want, and I don't have to worry about anything. My kids are situated. They're running the business. They're doing a good job. They get it. I'm fortunate. My kids are not spoiled brats, and we brought them up working. We actually used to argue with the other parents where, they went to St. Vincent's in Fenwick, that, there was like a rumor going around that we worked our kids too hard. Like, listen.
That's crazy.
If I'm going to work, you're going to work.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll give it to you, but you got to work.
Right.
That's it. So I'm fortunate in that sense that my kids are not brats. They work. They put the time in. My daughters travel all over the country, man, and do trade shows. And, Greco has distribution centers all over, and we go visit them, almost once a month. So they're on the road doing sales calls. Just, it's crazy.
Yeah. They're not just sitting behind a desk, put their their feet up on the desk and just clicking a mouse. They're out there on the road. They're doing things, and that's great. Testament to you.
I appreciate that, man. I love the young hustle, man. I really do. It's like fires me up, man. I get like just inspired, because you don't hear about it. It's not portrayed on social media anymore. Like that hustle and bustle is just not like you hear about it when we talk to you and just in small groups, but I feel like it just needs to be portrayed like, guys, this is what it takes to get here. There's no, magic dust. There's no fairies. There's nothing like that.
It's grit.
Years.
It's grit and persistence, perseverance. Just keep going after it. And
I was watching, you had Carlo Bertoli on here.
Yeah.
Great podcast, by the way. But he's another perfect example, man. I mean, Carlo's a very, very ambitious man. And I remember when he opened up Pizza Boy, he was similar situation. He worked with his father.
Right.
We got our pizza from there, from Bertoli's, from his father's place. But yeah, man, he's another great example of hard work, dedication, passionate, just making it happen,
Yeah,
him and Christina did a great job there.
I think I want to make it clear too for the viewers, just like Angelo was saying, like he's nonstop in the grind process, even now, after how many years?
Yeah.
40, 50 years of doing it, so you guys got to understand there's no like downtime because the guy next to you, the guy behind you is trying to catch up constantly. Yeah. So you always got to be innovating, grinding, pivoting. What's the market doing? How can we do better? What are the holes? How can we fix them?
You gotta be creative.
Yeah, and it's a nonstop game. There's no coasting. There's no like, oh, we're cool. We're just gonna stay here because you're gonna go right down.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs get burned out because they're not in that mindset of, okay, man, like it's almost like they tell themselves, once I get here, okay, I'm good. Mm-hmm. You might be good for a little bit, but the guy coming behind you is gonna catch up.
Yes,
constant, man. I tell my kids all the time, I tell all of my people all the time, anybody that touches a customer, if we don't take care of that customer, somebody else is gonna. We've got to take care of our customers, man. That is it. We go visit our customers. I don't get comfortable. Oh, I got it. We're okay. You can't do that. You got to go show some love to your customers, man. That's it. It's the only way it's going to work. So.
Yeah, the hospitality.
Yeah.
Sure. Make them feel that, and that's something that sets you apart. Because a lot of people make pizza, a lot of people make gelato, a lot of people have coffee, but how you make the customer feel at the end of the day is what sets you apart.
Yeah, what's the experience? 100%.
Yeah, and I appreciate that in-person connection. Like if somebody has, or somebody puts the time to come visit me, they took time out of their day to come visit me for whatever. I appreciate that versus an email. Hey, how you doing? Even a phone call, like a buddy. Hey, I'd rather pick up the phone versus send a text. Hey, how you doing? I'm on my way home, checking in. You all good? Cool. Call me later. If I leave a voicemail.
Right. But that's this generation now, man. It's all email.
It's weird, man.
Everything is through email. It's tough, man. It's tough for me too because I'm not the best writer in the world. I mean, ChatGPT definitely helps me out a little bit, but. How do people perceive what you're writing to be one way or another? You know what I mean? It could sound, stressful, or it could sound too emotional, or it could sound, but when you're talking and communicating with somebody,
I'm feeling the energy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Good, bad.
This guy's in, this guy's upset, whatever.
You can read the guy. You understand it's a handshake. Yeah. Like you understand, okay, is this guy, how do you feel? What's the vibe versus like an email?
Yeah.
I'm always like that with business, even with our guys, for like our financial guys. Like I'm like, no, let's meet. I don't want to be on a Zoom call. Let's take an hour. Yeah. I know you got an hour. If I can find an hour, you can find an hour.
Find the hour.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that and you're not connecting with people, you're just going to be ordinary, man. If you want to be extraordinary in today's world in business, you have to connect with people, man. You have to talk to people. You have to get in their face. If you look at any successful business person, any successful entrepreneur, they are not. They do emails, but they're not hiding behind it, man.
Right.
They can be social. They can talk to people. That's the way you build relationships. That's the way you build trust. You can't do it through a screen, man.
Right.
And listen, it's worked for me. I'm blessed to be surrounded by some of the most successful Chicagoland business people because of in-person talking to people and relationships and building that trust. So that's, I think the younger generations trying to build, they gotta realize that you gotta connect with people face to face.
Yeah. What's one thing that you think we can help with the young Italian community, or bridging the gap between, business owners, especially Italian business owners, infighting or whatever it is? What's something that we can do? Is there something that you can think of off your head, or something that you see other people doing that we can use our platform?
My niece and Pasquale have that Avanti group. Are you familiar?
I've heard
with
of it.
Avanti?
Yes.
Yeah. You should connect with them, and I'll connect you guys with them. But listen, this next generation coming up needs to understand what we understand, what we were brought up with, right? When you talk about jarring tomatoes and making sauce and doing those things, that's our heritage, that's our culture, that's our history. And, social media has, I think, portrayed it in a good way, per se, right? You think about growing up Italian, Sabino, what he's done. He's keeping that culture, that culture going. He's investing in that, the old school culture, and sometimes they make a mockery of it. But I think it's educating and embracing the younger generation to want to be a part of our culture and what we're doing, But it comes from what you teach your kids, To get somebody that's already older and, 18, 20, 21, to try to convince them that, hey, it's okay to be Italian, and it's okay to, jar your own sauce and make your own wine and make, super sat and do all those things.
Yep.
I think the biggest problem is there's too much conflict with the Italians, man. Everybody just needs to get along and work together and come together. Even with, my niece's group and some of the older groups, they're not happy with what they're doing. They're only doing parties. I'm like, no, they're not doing parties. At that age, they want to hang. They want to have a drink. They want to have a good time.
Right.
They're not going to sit there and talk about, whatever.
They're not going to sit
take
like
a pasta class.
Yeah, like they're at the social club.
Right. So I just, I think that it's important. You got to stay involved, right? We can be hypocrites and say all this stuff, but what are you doing to do it? Again, I give my niece and Pasquale credit for starting that group, whether you like it or not. They're really the only thing for that generation right now doing that, So how do we all work together, right?
Yeah, how do we boost
Two
that up?
Stunads,
Yeah.
Avanti, the Joint Civic Committee of Italian. I mean, think about all the Italian organizations.
There's so many, and a lot of them really are looking for that young talent.
Like my wife's part of the Italian American Women's Organization, so is yours.
Right.
And Paolo's doing the website for them. And it's like, my wife will tell me she'll come back from these meetings and these people don't even know a website. I'm like, how are you supposed to attract the young Italians? Like when my wife's trying to share to become a member, she has nowhere to just show up to a meeting.
To point people to.
Like, you have to keep up with the times in a sense. I'm all about being old school and this and that. Like I get it. I'm with you, but we got to give this younger generation an understanding. Okay, how do you get connected? How can we put you in place? What are the things that we're doing?
What's the mission?
And they do a great thing with Camp One Step, giving back to cancer.
Right.
But it's like, in order for you to be relevant and to grow your following and help more people, you got to get connected with the younger people, or else they're not going to know. And then you're going to be open-minded. You're going to be like, why didn't they connect? Oh, the younger kids are this and that. No. There's no excuses. You have to help them, and you got to show them. If you just think that writing a check and going to a meeting every month and they're going to show up randomly, it's not going to work like that.
Right.
No. And that's another thing. The younger generation, or at least our age group, we have to show up. Your age group, let's call it. You have to show up to these things and be a part of it.
Right.
And little by little, as you embrace it, then the younger generation gets confident and they can do it and they take it over. And you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think the best way that you guys could help, or we can all help, is just by supporting the next generation and educating them and doing things that make these kids want to be a part of it. And,
because I'm looking, what are our kids going to do? Like, what group are they going to have?
Right.
We
try and bring them around. Like we've got I'm Calabrese, and we've got the San Francesco de Paola Fest in Stone Park every year. And, we bring them to the fest every year. We try to, like it was done to me. I went to that fest every year too, and we try to bring them as well. But like, what's after that? Or like,
take them to Calabria.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like us. Like, you know my mother-in-law's mother, Angela Malachi.
Yeah.
Like, we're walking in the feast every year carrying the candle house.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see, like, unless you're from there, like, it's like you're not carrying the house. You're not going through that. You're not doing the stuff. You're not honoring the people who died. Like, there's just that camaraderie, you know, like, it sucks sweating your ass off carrying a candle house all day. But, dude, you're with your family. You're with the other Italians. Like, you're there. You're honoring people. Like, that's what it's for, you know, like.
Going back to St. Anthony Feast, they do the same thing.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's massive, man. And nobody complained. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't believe how many people. First time when I went there in 2019 after I got married, I was like, oh my God, it's an embarrassment. The Little Italy that we have in Chicago. I'm being dead serious, dude. It's an embarrassment.
Have you been?
I've not been to Boston, no.
You got to go, man.
Yeah.
Like,
it's on the list. He's been talking about it quite a bit.
You got to go. We haven't gone the last 2 years because we've been going to Italy in September. But we used to go every year, man, and it was like the best weekend.
Yeah.
And Boston is such a cool city.
I'd love to go.
Yeah.
I'd love to go.
And Ron Onesti does a great job, man. I mean, for one, he's always been like, since I've been a kid, like the guy that just always pumping, you know, constantly being the guy that we're doing this or always involved. And that guy's got energy out the wazoo.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
That's a perfect example. There are people that love Ron, and there are people that don't like Ron. I'm a big fan of Ron. Ron gave me my first award. My brother and I, entrepreneurial, the David Award for being, you know, young entrepreneurs, whatever it was. This was back in the, I don't know, probably late 90s. But when people make comments, oh, he's doing it for himself, he's doing this, he's doing that, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Who the hell is going to do what Ron does? Who's going to be one weekend in Rome with the Pope, and then he's in New York meeting with this person, he's in Boston meeting with this person, then he's here. I went to the Neck concert at Des Plaines Theater on Thursday night. I talked to him on Wednesday, and he was, I think it was in New York. I don't know. I didn't even ask him, are you going to be there tomorrow, you know? Sure enough, dude, I get to the concert, sit down, boom.
He's there.
Ron Onesti's there. I'm like,
smiling,
festivals and this, and he's the president of this organization, president of the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, does he benefit from being a part of all this? Absolutely. But who cares? Why is that bad?
He's putting work.
Because you're a fucking hater and you don't want him to make money? I don't understand. Let him make money. Yeah. Support him.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff that you would never do.
Who else is going to do it?
Nobody.
No one's going to step it up. You know how hard it is to put on those events? I mean,
I do.
To coordinate it.
I have an idea.
I mean,
I help out. I help.
From the audio dude to the security, all this, the permits, everything, the licensing.
So much that goes into those
people have no
events.
clue. Like, even when we were talking with Giuseppe a couple weeks ago, like the stuff he had to do that fest in Bloomingdale this year.
Insurance.
Like, he was like, "Oh my God, dude, I had no fucking clue that it takes this much stuff."
That's a lot,
right?
Like, until you dive into it, you have no clue. So people that are judging Ron, it's like the nicest guy ever. I never heard him say a negative thing about anybody. So he's
a sweetheart. He's a good guy. Nobody's going to do what Ron does. They need to actually embrace him more. And listen, he's got a ton of fans. People love him, but there are those few that just. You know.
You're going to have those. I think we've talked about this before. Like, you're going to have those people that are, forget about that guy, or they see him.
It's like a jealousy thing. I feel
picking
like
a side. It's like we had a guest that says something like, if you're on one side of the street, you're good. If you're on the other side of the street, you're great. But if you're in the middle, you get squashed like a grasshopper or whatever it was. It was great. It was like, pick a side, own it, and that's what he's doing.
If it came down to it, Ron would choose helping over the Italian community over helping himself if he had to pick.
I agree.
Yeah. That's just who he is.
Yeah. Question for you that we ask a lot of our guests, and this is a standard question. Maybe you know what this question is. Stunad moment that you've done throughout your time. Something where you're like, why did I do that? Why did I say this? Why did I go through with this? Something that you learned from.
Wow. It could be in business.
Anything,
it could be with family.
anything at all.
Yeah.
Or something that you wish you could, I wouldn't say regret, but what's, something that you can think of like, this got me and I learned from it.
I would say and it's not even a regret. It's something that I wish I would have spent more time. I wish I would have spent more time in school. I wish I would have had a college experience. Back then I couldn't imagined going to school anymore. But I would say an education, the camaraderie, the people you meet, what you do, the things you learn. As I get older, I start to like history, but I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all the basic stuff, but when I hear people talk, oh, do you remember this and that? And, and I'm like, man, I wish I knew that, So I wish I would have invested more time, but I had my head down and I was working, man.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think I don't have any regrets with my parents, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was a good father. I did the best I could. I went to almost every game. I'm not saying that my head was there.
Sure.
Because I was worried about, paying bills and running a business.
Of course.
But no, I don't really have, there's a lot of small Stunad moments.
Sure.
But anything worth talking about?
Whatever comes to mind, ultimately the question is to help people understand that you're not always going to make the right decision. But at the end of the day, how did you come back from that decision where you're like, I wish I'd have done it differently? You don't just kind of sit there and soak and just worry about it. You change your direction. You make it happen. And it sounds like you did that quite a bit. You pushed through a lot of barriers and you just kind of went through it. You had that grit.
Yeah, listen, without failure, you're not going to succeed because you have to experience that failure and that letdown and, the story of people saying, oh, you got to knock on 10 doors before you get one person to answer.
Right.
Sometimes you got to knock on 100 doors before you get one person to answer. So, yeah, man, you want to be successful in today's world, and it's not just about money. It's about happiness. It's about being a good person. It's about having faith. You have to work hard.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it.
Right.
And I don't care what you're doing. It could be digital social media stuff. It could be podcasting. It could be all that. I'm sure you guys work today, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
Did you at any point to yourself say, shit, man, do I want to sit here tonight for 3 hours talking to somebody?
Well, we knew you were coming on, so the answer is yes.
Yeah, okay.
But
fine. But yeah, there's days where you're just like, yeah, I spend a lot of time at Masa on the weekend.
Right.
You think I want to work all week, 10, 12 hours, and then Saturday and Sunday? But I got to do it.
Yeah.
I do these videos, and people want to see you there.
Yeah.
So I go there and like, oh, yeah, I seen your TikTok, and I seen this, and I seen that. I got to do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I went to Dominican University.
Yep.
And we used to go to Masa all the time for lunch. Yeah. And, we would walk in, and some of the older classmen that, we used to go with, they'd always be like, hey, is Angelo here? Is Angelo here? And you were always there, and you were always, smile on your face, and the service. Yeah. So, you got to be there.
I love it, man.
If your name's on it, man, I always say you got to be involved.
Yeah.
You have to be.
I'm passionate about what I do, man.
Got to be.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I'm telling you. There's a lot of people doing things and working and making a career out of something that they're not super passionate about. It definitely makes it a little easier.
Yeah, it drains you. That drains you, I'm sure.
Yeah, man.
On top. Yeah, I get it.
Quite a question for you. I noticed you got 2 tattoos on your arms. Can you talk about those?
They look new, relatively
I was
new.
just going to say, man, I just got these.
Yeah.
Dio lo sa.
God knows.
Right.
Or God only knows. And familia.
Familia.
Yeah. Simple.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm all about my family.
Nice.
I can't say I'm the most religious guy in the world, but my faith is definitely with God. And I just think it's cool. Sometimes when you're questioning things and you're like, man, is this going to work out? God knows, man.
Yeah.
So Dio lo sa. I actually, I told you I was always a music guy. I've always been a hip hop junkie. I love hip hop music. More so East Coast, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Beastie Boys. Those guys inspired me as a kid. And I was in Italy about 3 years ago, and 3 or 4 years ago, and I was in a store, and it was a song playing, an Italian kind of rappy hip hop song. So I Shazammed it, and it came up Briga, Briga. And, you know, I started listening to his other songs. By the end of the trip, man, I was in love with this guy's music. So listening to his music, I got exposed to other, crazy enough, Italian hip hop artists, right? And that's all I listened to, man.
Rocco Hunt. You listen to Rocco Hunt?
Yes, and I met Rocco Hunt.
Did you really?
I sat next to him on a plane.
Oh, that's
in first class. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Love Rocco Hunt. Yeah, man. But right now, I'm impazzito with Geolier. Geolier is a Neapolitan rapper.
Okay.
But the kid is just amazing.
That's awesome.
And his last album was called Dio Lo Sa. And that's kind of where I started, you know, thinking about that. But yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just, you know, my wife's like, are you sure you want to do that? People are going to see it. I'm like, you know what? At this point in my life, I can't worry about what people think. It makes me happy. It's not like I'm, you know, saying anything derogatory.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple. I like it. See what happens.
Yeah,
see if I get sleeved.
There you go.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Get those lyrics all over your
Shit. Well, anyways, man, I don't have any further questions for you.
No, neither do I. This was so awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story. This was beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's cool to learn just the history, because, you know, everyone drives past Masa and, you know, you just know it is being a good place to go.
Yeah.
But to hear the history and the hardships and, you know, things like that, it just makes it more special, you know?
Yeah.
At least for us. So, and we appreciate you coming on, taking your time. Like you said, worked a full day, met with people, coming out here to help the community, help us. We truly appreciate that. So
it's my pleasure, man. And I give you guys a lot of credit for what you guys do. Obviously, I've been watching some of your podcasts, and you guys do a fabulous job, man.
Thank you.
You got a class act studio here too.
Oh yeah, a lot of hard work over here putting this together.
It is, man.
It
really is.
Yeah. So, but we'll leave all of Angelo's socials, his website. You guys want to get connected with anything like that? Have you Fox Pena for Foxito?
The boss.
Yeah.
Connect
guy.
Yeah, we connected with him too. He's going to be on the show, which is exciting. So,
oh, you're gonna love him, man.
yeah.
Nice.
We were just talking to him on the phone. It was just like, man, he's got energy.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
he's so genuine.
Yeah.
He's a New Yorker.
I told him, I was like, I don't want to hear your story because I've seen your stuff, but like his story and history, like I've just heard, is just out of this world.
Yeah, excited too. It's gonna be a good one.
He's one of my favorite guys, man. We connected, and he's super cool. You're
Yeah.
gonna love it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this show. If you guys watched all the way, we truly appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. We'll leave all of Angelo's contact information below. Make sure you guys go check out his shop. If you guys aren't there, are they able to buy those pizzas online still?
Yeah, Goldbelly. You can buy our stuff on Goldbelly.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Awesome.
100%.
But yes, guys, we'll see you guys next show.
Thanks everybody.